Hello and welcome to another Noita video. Today we're going to do another episode of the anime attacks. We're going to be recreating some attacks in Noita, obviously with my own interpretation. And thank you to everyone who submitted their suggestions of their anime attacks. There was a few that I really wanted to try, but Noita, while it has a lot of creativity, also has a lot of restrictions on what you can do. So some of them were more difficult than others. Um, and there was a few that I really wanted to do, like Saitama's Super Punch. I can't remember the name of it, but I couldn't think of a way to accurately do it where I could feel satisfied. But anyway, thank you to everyone who submitted their suggestions. And today we have two anime attacks for you. The first one is from Naruto called the Rasen Shuriken. So as usual, I'm first going to play the clip. This is the one build we have here. Looks a little bit scary, but we're going to go through it carefully. First, I'm going to cast it, and we'll use this test dummy for our purposes. So that's what it looks like. And it has a second phase and a third phase. Okay, so let's just take a look at this one build carefully. So we have a long distance cast, teleporting cast. That just makes it spawn on top of the enemy. And then we have a few things going on here. Double cast is going to cast two spells. The first of which is this plasma, and the second spell is this delayed spell cast. So those are the two spells that's going to be cast. Now, delayed spell cast needs to cast 3 spells after a short period of time. 2 of them are going to be duds, basically just 2 bubble sparks. Then the third one is going to be a Giga Black Hole, which has an add timer, which when the add timer is completed, it's going to spawn in a lot of bursts of air that have blue, but once the burst of air expired, it's going to explode into 8 copies of itself. So let's just quickly cast it again so you can get an idea. Obviously, once you're dealing with plasma, you must be prepared to take a lot of damage. So again, as you can see, I'm shooting the plasma beam cross. There's 10 of them, and we've made the beam a little bit wider, and the orbiting arc makes so that it spins like that, because I wanted it to spin in the same way that a Rasen Shuriken spins. So we have a lot of plasma spinning around. Now, because this plasma is being cast at the same time as the double cast, after a certain amount of time, which just so luckily that the delayed spell cast and the plasma beam kind of activate at the same time. So the minute plasma beam ends, delayed spell cast kicks in. And what it spawns is 2 dud spells because it has to cast 3 spells. So I just put these for fun. And then we have a lot of reduced lifetime. So I'm reducing the lifetime of this black hole. Now it's a blue black hole with a glimmer. And the black hole has this add timer. So after a short amount of time, it spawns a lot of bursts of air. Now because the Rasen Shuriken is like kind of wind-based, I wanted to have some kind of wind-based attack, and burst of air is the only spell in the game like that. So it's casting a lot of bursts of air, which Giga Black Hole does a very good job of pulling projectiles in. So it's going to pull those bursts of air in, and after the burst of air expires, it spawns 8 copies of itself. So there you can see it in action again. This after the death cost expires, you have the black hole, and then you have the blue burst of air. And after the blue burst of air is dead, it casts the 8 copies of burst of air again with the Lapa explosion. However, because Lapa explosion doesn't allow modifiers, you see them as white. So pretty cool. My health bar is already completely gone. It's kind of not accurate, but I really like the way the black hole pulls in the projectiles. If I move this divide by 3 over here, we get a slightly different build. So you can see after the burst of air, we have a second round of plasma beams. And the reason for that is because whenever you add divide by spells on a modifier, the wand has to wrap, right? Now, I don't want to get into too much details because I could spend an entire hour explaining how divide by spells work, but basically, if it's like this, we just have about 30 copies about the burst of air. If I put it like this two spells causes the wand to wrap back to the plasma beam. So we're going to have a second round of plasma. So instead of being a three-phase wand where it's just plasma, black hole, and burst of air, we have plasma, black hole, burst of air, and then plasma again, as you can see here. So without having the divide by on lava explosion, you have plasma, black hole with blue burst of air, and then white burst of air. And then if I swap this around, you have plasma, black hole with the blue burst of air, white burst of air, and then plasma again. I like this version better. However, I just wanted to show you the version without the fourth phase of the extra plasma beams, mainly because I don't really like it when wands wrap. However, looks really cool. Let's just go test it on some basic enemies so you can get a feeling for how it looks. Obviously, I don't have to tell you how dangerous plasma beams are. So if I can find an enemy, the plasma beam kills them instantly, unfortunately. So there's nothing really I can do there. I don't know if we can find a stronger enemy. Maybe we can use Steve to bully him quickly. He should be coming out when the black hole activates. Okay. If that thing doesn't kill him, okay. So plasma kills him instantly, unfortunately. Maybe Call Me will work, but I'm not sure. Because there's 10 of these plasmas and they spawn on the enemy, it's unlikely that they'll die. But look, he likes to run away. It does kill him, but it also kills me very quickly, which is the problem. The main initial plasma just does too much damage, so you can't really test it out. I shouldn't have that anyway. So that's the Rasen Shuriken. The next attack is called, what is it called again? I think it's called Hollow Purple from Jujutsu Kaisen. Most of these animes I didn't watch yet. However, a lot of you guys submitted that suggestion. So again, we'll watch the clip and then we'll come back to Noita.
さて、どこから行こうか。となると優先すべきはお前だな。あ、ラックラックラック、殺すぞ。仕方ない。少し乱暴しようか。術式順転青、術式反転赤。挙式紫。これでは払えたかどうかもわからん。黙れ。イエーイ！一件落着。
Okay, we're back in Noita. That was the Hollow Purple, and I was really excited to work with this one. This is the wand build. Before we actually go into the wand build, I want to do kind of a dumbed down version of it. So the main part of this thing is the formation above and below. Now you might not use the spell a lot, but for this specific case it was very useful. So what this does is cast 3 spells ahead, above, and below the caster. Now that description is not quite accurate. You see I have pink, green, and purple. And you can see pink goes up, green goes forward, and purple goes down. So it's actually above, ahead, and below, not ahead, above, and below. So the description is a bit inaccurate, but basically you can follow here. It first goes up, then to the right, then down. So in order to make the 2 spheres that he casts, we're going to be using Glimmer with Vacuum Field. Now, as you can see, Vacuum Field normally is orange in color. We're using the liquid vacuum field, but if you add a blue or red, it changes its color. So that's what we're going to be mainly using for the spells. So above, we want a blue vacuum field. Yes, blue. Ahead, I might have to actually check the order because I could be doing it inaccurately. So above, we want long distance cast blue vacuum field. Ahead, we're just going to cast this for now, and then below, we're going to cast long distance cast with red vacuum field. So as you can see, we have the 2 vacuum fields, and then in the middle, we have the energy orb. Now, 1 vacuum field isn't potent enough, so we're going to be casting 10 of them to get a more profound effect, as you can see. And it doesn't matter which direction I'm casting from, the energy orb is still going to go in the direction I aim, and the 2 spheres are going to be oriented accordingly. So that is basically a basic version of the thing. The actual spell is here. So we have above the blue vacuum field. This is the first thing that's going to be cast. Forget about ahead. What's going to be cast below is the red vacuum field, 10 of them, and they have an increased lifetime for a reason I'll tell you later. Then what's going to get cast ahead of the player is this spell here, long delayed spell cast. This is just going to give it a little bit of time. So I'm going to cast it and then I'll explain further. And it goes, all my health is gone. So to explain what's going on, I just need 1 more spell that makes this a little bit less chaotic. Okay. I made some tweaks to this before. Anyway, so the delayed spellcast is giving it a little bit of time so that the actual black hole doesn't come in immediately. So the delayed spellcast needs to cast 3 spells. The first spell is black hole, a lot of them, and they have the purple glimmer so that it looks cool. And they also have a lot of homing because I want it to home onto the player. So remember, delayed spellcast needs 3 spells. Black hole. Then the second spell is long distance cast. The third spell is this bubble spark over here. Now long distance cast has its own requirement. It also requires another spell. So it's going to cause the double spell to cast these 2 spells. So these bubble sparks are just basically duds in order to make sure the wand doesn't wrap, because then you have crazy things going on. The reason why I'm using Summon Deercoy is because what's happening is, let's say I spawn in the 2. Something went wrong. This has to come back here. I ruined it. Okay, I'll figure that out now. Basically, the Deercoy is there so that the black hole can start homing onto the enemy. I'm just gonna load in this one from scratch. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, so the reason why I have the Deercoy is so that when the black hole initially spawns, so let's say the black hole spawns by the player, the Deercoy will spawn around here, and then the black hole will home in towards the Decoy, giving it some initial momentum. The thing is, Giga Black Hole doesn't really like to move. It's not like Omega Black Hole that has a lot of velocity. Giga Black Hole kind of likes to remain in one place. However, it can home in if you just give it a little bit of a boost. So again, delayed spell cast, casting 3 spells, the Giga Black Hole, this Bubble Spark, and these 2 spells in between, right? So the long distance cast is just putting it ahead so that the Decoy can give it a little bit of a boost. You can actually do that and it'll still work fine. You can see actually this green thing there, that is the Giga Black Hole that's trapped inside delayed spellcast. So I'm going to go to Hasty Base. There's a lot of enemies there. And then we'll give it a try. So just like in anime, we have the 2 fields. Once it spawns, it will go crazy. Because the black hole has homing, it's gone all the way up there. I was really proud of this one. The only problem is I wanted you to use Omega Black Hole, but Omega Black Hole has too much velocity and also it's too dark. You can find some more enemies. Now the reason why you don't see the vacuum fields, the liquid vacuum field, is not because they're disappearing, but the Giga Black Hole is actually pulling them in. So it kind of reminds me of like a particle accelerator. And here it goes. I don't even know where it went. We'll go to jungle and test it out. It'll allow me. Obviously, again, you need to be wary of taking damage. I'll just spawn it here so that we can wake up Steve. Hello, Steve. Let's see what it can do. He's dead instantly. And it goes crazy. Kind of very similarly to the anime, which is what I was going for initially. Jungle is a bit more open, so let's see if it will crazy. And it just goes right up. Obviously you don't want to get stuck in there, however I do want to keep an eye on it. Once it finds an enemy, it goes crazy. You can remove the linear arc and you can remove the purple glimmer, but I feel like that just makes it look a little bit worse, because then you actually see the Giga Black Hole outline, which for me doesn't look really pretty. So I'm going to put on the purple glimmer back. Something is wrong. Whenever I make some small changes on camera, something goes wrong, but when I'm testing, nothing happens. Yeah, something is just really broken right now. I have no idea, but maybe I can compare. I don't know what's the difference right now, but you can tell me in the comments. So that's the Hollow Purple from, what's the anime? Jujutsu Kaisen. I was really impressed with this one. As you can see, when there's not an enemy to home in on, the black holes go crazy, which is why I like to cast them inside the biomes. Anyway, that's the end of it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. You can try this out for yourself and let me know what you think. Also, if you have any other anime attacks that you want to suggest, not even just anime, some video game attacks that look really cool. Like I know Elden Ring, I haven't played it myself, but has a lot of really cool attacks. So if you want to recommend to me some attacks, you can do that in the comments. But that will be it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.